Speaking of the Blues, they've got a world of issues themselves, and it's on their door pretty quick at 9-2.
Yeah, it is, and it was a shocking performance on Thursday night, and the way that Carlton played was outstanding. But they've got issues everywhere, and their fans are restless. And Lordo, their backline issues run deep. And I know you wanted to take a look at Plowman and how many goals he had kicked on in the first half.
Well, we want to talk about the team defence of Carlton, but also I want to know why David Teague had Lockie Plowman out of the goal square deep on guys like DeGoey and Jamie Elliott for so long. Surely he had to make the move earlier. But again, I'm asking, do coaches go into games backing in their system and individuals like they've planned throughout the week? Coaches have to make moves earlier, and Lockie Plowman was left out of the goal square for too long, Hutchie. And then when they finally got their structure right in the third quarter, Liam Jones back to the goal square, they looked much safer, but it was all too late, Kane.
Well, I mean, the defence is clearly an issue, but the other issue, well, selection's fast becoming, at Carlton, what this program might call the elephant in the room.
Yeah, so let's look at the players that are playing that perhaps shouldn't be if Carlton want to win a premiership in the next 2 years. Can they win it this year? Probably not. Can they win it next year or the year after? Possibly if all things go right. But if they're playing these players, they probably can't. You've got to rip the Band-Aid off and play some of these young players. The fact that Cornes still playing and turning the footer over. Casbolt's been a warrior. Murphy, I know what they're doing with him playing him at half forward and the lack of impact he's having. Austin McDonald as well. Well, he's the last pick on their list. And some others there, including Plowman, are getting games in front of players that were high draft picks. And granted, Lordo, we don't know if they can play yet, but you've got to be putting Petreski-Seaton into Murphy's role, playing him through the midfield. O'Brien just has to play. Stocker just has to play. De Koning's injured, but I look forward to seeing him getting back in. Marchbank when he's fit. Paddy Dow's not getting the minutes. So at some point, they're going to have to put those players through and give them opportunities if they want to grow.
Is there anyone there that you think should be dropped this week?
Well, Lockie Plowman had one of the worst halves of footy I've ever seen. Gibbons, kicked a couple of goals.
What would you do with Murphy, Kane?
Well, I don't think he's good enough to be in the side. I think Petreski-Seaton plays that role. Petreski-Seaton is a half forward / midfielder. He looks lost across.
But who would you rather on a wing, Murphy or Jack Newnes, for example? Is Murphy being played out of position?
You've got to go younger. If in doubt, and Matthew Nix has said the same, you've got to prioritise youth with where they're at.
What about O'Brien played in round one?
Newnes should be
one game's not enough, Lord.
He's had more than one game.
But how many games has Murphy had? So what is he going to give you what Murphy's giving you? Probably.
Maybe they've seen enough of O'Brien, unfortunately, at this point in time. Well,
then you've got to look at the recruiting. Yeah. And David Teague is not at fault.
He was a pick 9, wasn't he?
10.
Yeah,
10, yeah. It's interesting. A lot of those players were revived a little bit when David Teague took control, right? One of the knocks on Brendan was he's playing and exposing the kids too much. Maybe they've overcorrected. It's going to be a burning topic in the weeks to come. And then, of course, at the Betts and McGovern decisions looming. And Cripps playing injured. Sam Edmund told us on SEN tonight. Your thoughts, though, on the way he's going about it?
Yeah, I'm sick of the playing injured debate. That seems to be around Cripps the whole time. Like, when good players are out of form, their excuse seems to be they're injured. But this is the forward craft. So let's say they want to put him as a forward. Give something. Do something as a forward, Lordo, and you can speak to that. He's on the wrong side of the Collingwood defender.
Maybe he can't run.
Well, exactly right. And that's an issue.
What was injury?
It's an undisclosed injury.
So he shouldn't play then, should he? If you can't spread through the midfield and you can't get off defenders, maybe he should stop and get his body right if that's the case.
But no one was saying he was injured when he had 17 disposals in the first half last week. So the modern game...
Where would you play him, Kate? What would you do with him?
He's got to be a midfielder, but he's got to get fitter. And I look at the way that Ollie Wines is spreading and the best midfielders are spreading, he has to do that.
Carlton fans would say you're too hard on him.
No, I'm not. I said last week I would pay him $750,000 a year. That's a pretty good contract. He's not going to starve on that, Hutchie. That's up top 10% in the competition.
I think that's fair, the way he's playing,